Yo, what is up? Pardon my pancreas crew. Stoked to have you here because today we're talking about how ready is a lie, along with the one biggest tip that I can give you on how to make progress with your blood sugars, especially if you're feeling stuck with your time in range, your A1C, or the erratic blood sugars that are driving you nuts. So, before we get into any of that though, we gotta get into our theme song. So, let's cue that up and we'll get into it.
I've spent the last 10 years pushing the limits while identifying trends and patterns in my type 1 diabetes management. Follow along as I learn, apply, and share the fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle strategies that I've learned from diabetes experts around the world. The real question is, how can we live fearlessly with diabetes while maintaining stable blood sugars? This podcast is here to give you the answer. My name is Matt Vandevecht, head coach and co-founder of FTF Warrior, and welcome to Pardon My Pancreas.
All right, crew. So I want to start us off with a story of my last couple of months. I've been digging into some research on overall health. So as you know, you probably see me talking about blood sugars a lot, type 1 diabetes, and how I'm working my way through learning every piece of blood sugar management mastery that I can, trying to share that with you guys and with my clients. But as I'm diving into that side of health, I realize there's a much bigger scope of things that impact blood sugars that we also need to be aware of, right? Your hydration, your sleep, your overall gut microbiome, your diet, exercise, all these things impact blood sugars. And we know that to a certain extent, right? But as I'm diving into these different topics and learning more about what really goes on in the foods that we eat, in the types of exercises that we try to incorporate into our lives, it's really interesting how we've, in many cases, been led astray, and myself included. A lot of the foods that I was eating, I recognized had a lot of stuff in there that is not healthy, even though I thought it was healthy enough, right? And I had made this decision that I was going to fix my diet, that I was going to prioritize sleep, that I was going to drink more water. And I realized one of the most dangerous terms and phrases in the English language is I will, or I'm going to, or I want to, instead of I am, I do, I currently am, right? And so with these different phrases that we use, I found myself often saying, I'm gonna get to that, or when things settle down, or after our move. For those of you who've been following our journey for a little bit, we actually are now currently in the process of a big move. We actually just purchased our first home ever, and it turns out moving with a baby is a lot more difficult than we had anticipated. We've moved like 7 times in the last years, but this is the first move with a baby, and we've had more stuff this time as well because we're moving into a house, and the whole thing, it's chaotic. But you know what? That's life. C'est la vie. So as we're jumping into this move, I'm thinking to myself, well, I shouldn't take on all these new changes in my life, drink more water, prioritize sleep, change my diet. That's a big one. I shouldn't take those on in the midst of this chaos, right? I should wait until I'm focused, wait until I'm ready. And then not too long ago, I heard this phrase uttered that really struck a chord with me, and that is that ready is a lie. And I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, you know what? Truly, when you think about that, are we ever really ready for anything? Or is readiness an excuse to procrastinate or to avoid uncomfortable situations? Because as you know, growth is uncomfortable. That's how you get stronger. As you enter into a challenging situation or moment in your life, you grow stronger as a result. It's uncomfortable, right? Building muscle in the gym, it's uncomfortable. You have to challenge yourself in order to grow. So as I'm telling myself, I'll get to my dietary changes when I'm ready, am I really going to be ready? Or is life going to throw a new challenge my way and give me yet another excuse to procrastinate? So I'm sitting back thinking about this, like, if ready is truly a lie, and this is really my brain just making excuses to procrastinate, what is holding me back from taking action today? I'm like, shoot. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I gotta pack up our entire apartment. I have to make sure that I'm taking care of my clients. I have to make sure that I am taking care of myself and doing these XYZ things. Like, I don't know if I have time. And it's like, really? Come on, Matt. You can't find 10 or 15 minutes of time to focus on this, to set some time aside to, plan out your meals, to go to the grocery store, make a decision to buy healthier foods, come on, time can't possibly be the reason that you're going to let yourself develop less than ideal health down the road, whatever that might look like. And so finally I decided, and that was the first step for me, was deciding that I was going to make this a priority. And oftentimes, we hear people talk about what they claim are their priorities. Oh yeah, sleep's a priority. Oh, diet's a priority. Oh, exercise is a priority. I just don't have time right now. I'm very busy. Are you? You really can't find a 30-minute gap to go lift some weights, go for a run, go for a walk? I don't know about that. No. Blood sugars, they really are a priority for me. I just don't know if now is the best time because there's a lot going on. Your blood sugars are 24/7, especially if you're someone like me living with insulin-dependent diabetes. So the first question we have to ask ourselves is the thing that we're trying to make happen by saying, I will do that when I'm ready. I should do that. You know what I mean? Are those things actually priorities, or are we starting off by lying to ourselves about it being a priority? So first, take a quick look at the things that you've been pushing off, the things you've been saying, I will do that. For me, it was changing my diet to be more healthy. I was eating a lot of processed foods, and I know that it's not healthy for me, right? So I kept saying, yeah, I will change that. Even my wife was like, Matt, when are you going to make the switch? I had been talking about this for weeks on end, maybe even months. And when are you going to make the change, Matt? Oh, I will. There's still stuff left in the fridge. I'm going to eat that first. And then, sure enough, the next week, I had restocked the same items. I'm messing myself up, right? So I had to decide, is this a priority? Or am I saying I will do that in order to push off that uncomfortable switch? Because transitions aren't comfy, right? They're difficult. There's an unknown component to it. So first step, is it a priority? If so, decide to make it a priority. Now the second step to this is eating healthier. I had to commit. Right? It's not just a matter of, oh yes, I'm going to eat this. It's, okay, well then do it, commit to it, right? Whether that's for me, throwing out certain foods that I know are not healthy, right? Even if for me, it tears me apart on the inside because I hate wasting food. For somebody who wants to commit to better blood sugars, maybe it's that time you're at a restaurant and you're like, I know I should be pre-bolusing right now. I know I decided that pre-bolusing was going to be a priority for me, but I'm not ready to commit to it because, I'm with friends and family right now. Next time for sure is when I'll be ready. But remember, ready is a lie. It is your excuse to yourself to procrastinate. So it's not about next time. It's about commitment to the now. You have to commit in this moment to start now. There's no waiting. Okay? Waiting will push you into a procrastination state. It's not going to help you out. So first step, decide is it a priority or not. Second step, you got to commit to that process that will take you to your goal. Right, now the third step for me is really looking at, well, what is the next step that I need to take in order to eat healthier, in order to shift my diet, even though life is chaotic at the moment. We've got all these crazy moving pieces within the move itself, right? Our new house is, it's a whole story in and of itself, but it's actually not ready yet. This is not our house. I'm going to get to that in a second. But the third step is to take imperfect action. So the first step for me is not looking at, well, how do I fix my entire diet today? No, it's about how can I take one step forward to build momentum. See, momentum is the true key behind all of this. If you can build momentum, your brain feels progress as a good thing. You kind of get addicted to it, right? If you can build progress towards any of your goals, that builds your motivation, your intrinsic motivation. So it's no longer somebody else telling you got to do something. It's your own self telling yourself, this feels good, I like this, I'm moving towards my goal. I am rewarding myself, right? So that intrinsic motivation comes from progress. Progress comes from taking the first step. All right, taking the first step does not have to be perfect. It's okay if you trip a little bit on that first step. Babies, I've got a baby right now. She's not walking yet. She's not crawling yet. But I can guarantee you, she's not just going to get up off the ground and start running a perfect sprinter stride tomorrow, right? There's going to be steps to this. There's different tiers. There's different levels to this process. She's going to learn how to wiggle first, which is where she's at. Soon she'll learn how to start crawling. Then from crawling, she may learn to stand up. From standing up, she'll learn to walk. From walking, she'll learn to balance and pivot. From pivoting, she'll learn how to run. It's a process. You do not start with perfection. You must start by taking imperfect action in order to build the momentum that will yield progress, which yields your intrinsic motivation. I hope you're following. Does this make sense so far? And if this is helpful, I want you, if you're on YouTube especially, drop a comment below. My favorite word this year is momentum. If you're feeling this momentum, you're feeling like you got something in mind that you know you need to work on, that you've been pushing off, I want you to comment momentum down below. We've got something fun for you that I think you're really going to enjoy. But along the lines of these pieces of the puzzle that have to come together, it all starts with you taking imperfect action. Now, I want to give you a second example that you're going to love because it's happening literally as we speak. It's real time. I had planned this episode to be in our new house. I was going to be walking around, giving you a tour, showing you this is the chaos that we're living in. How fun, right? And welcome you into our world of our new home. The issue is that there were some missing pieces along the process and things did not go according to plan. So we moved out, we made the long drive. I think it took us like 4 or 5 hours to get down here on the road with a baby, right? And along that process, we were notified our home would not be ready for a move-in. And it wasn't going to be ready for more than just a couple of days. And so instead, we have been thankfully had the option to jump in and stay with family for a short period of time while they finished up construction. I guess some people didn't show up for work that were supposed to, and it's just been a bit of a crazy situation right now. You know, all of our stuff's packed away. I'm running low on not only clothes, but also diabetes supplies, right? I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? I think I've got enough. But along that process, I had this thought of, well, the episode that I wanted to do about Ready is a Lie isn't going to be perfect. You know, I don't have my camera gear, I don't have my camera stand, I don't have my microphone, I'm not in my recording studio, my editing laptop is packed away somewhere. I'll just film something else on my phone, give them a quick little, you know, this is a diabetes tip, use that, I'll catch you next week. And then it hit me. I was pushing it off because I wasn't ready. But what have we learned so far from this episode? That ready is a lie. See, I had fallen into the same exact trap that I was going to tell you to avoid. So, of course, in true fashion, I had to film this episode, make do with what I had, because even though I was not ready, we know that ready is a lie. You must decide, is it a priority? Yes, it is my priority to bring you new, fresh content on type 1 diabetes every single week on this platform. Am I committed to it? Yes, I have something that can record, right? I do have my backup camera, thankfully. And 3, I will take imperfect action. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you a picture of the setup that I have right now because I am missing all of my gear. This is actually a current picture of me that I took right before I hit record on the camera. If you're listening in, my camera is literally sitting on top of a table propped up by today's mail, and that table is standing on top of another table. So I have a table on a table and my camera sitting on top because I'm missing all of my gear. But guess what? Imperfect action will always beat no action. You have to start making momentum if you expect to see progress. Progress will yield that intrinsic motivation. So right now, I got to get this episode out to you because if I didn't, I'd be breaking the first rule, which is deciding to make it a priority. And so I am actually putting this into practice as I always do. Everything that I tell you, I practice myself. So yes, I did work on changing my diet. I noticed that I was not eating fruits and vegetables anymore. It was pretty bad. I'm going to admit that. I got into a place where I was eating a lot of processed foods. Since then, the last 4 days, I've been eating at least 1 to 2 servings of fruits and vegetables per meal. Big improvement. Still a long way to go for me, right? Second piece, I had to film this episode even though nothing was right. I was not in the least bit ready for it, but you got to take action. Taking imperfect action is key to making progress towards your goals and building that motivation inside. If you feel like you've been lacking motivation, take 1 step forward. It's okay if you trip. It's okay if you fall, but you get back up and you use that momentum to create progress, to create intrinsic motivation, and to drive yourself towards success, towards your goals. That is how you win. That's how you fix your blood sugars too. Believe it or not, you take one small step forward. I counted my carbs tonight for the first time in 5 years. Amazing! You just told your brain that I can do this, and you've given yourself hope at continuing to do that. Now, I don't care what area in life you are trying to find success right now. This most likely applies to blood sugars because, like me, you probably take insulin, right? You probably also have diabetes. It's why you're watching these things. But in addition to that, you might have other areas in your life that you're trying to make progress, gain momentum in, right? It could be your career. It could be your health. It could be your sleep. It could be your relationships. It could be your diabetes, right? It doesn't matter what it is, you can apply those 3 steps frameworks to this moment in your life. First step, decide, is this a priority? Second step, commit to the outcome. Do something, right? Do something. And that leads us into step number 3, take imperfect action. It does not matter if all the ducks aren't lined up perfectly in a row for you to take that next step. Take it anyway. Prove to yourself that you can do this, that it is a priority, and that you are committed to getting those results. All right? Now with these things, that imperfect step, it could be asking your boss for the raise you've been wanting to. It could be asking the girl or guy out that you've been, crushing on for the last 2 years. With your blood sugars, it could be carb counting or finally pre-bolusing when you're out at a restaurant. It could be taking imperfect action and reaching out to somebody to help you, right? It could be hiring a mentor or a coach to guide you through the process of your diabetes, of your diet change, of your fitness regimen. There we go. It could be anything. But use those 3 steps to build momentum, which will yield progress, which tells you that I can do this and I can continue doing this. That is how you will make progress towards your goals. That is how you will achieve your craziest, wildest dreams. Literally, just decide right now, is it a priority? Yes or no? Commit to that goal, okay? Step number 3, take imperfect action. I promise you, it will radically change your life. Whatever you're thinking about right now, do it. Do something. And do it now. All right? I hope you found this one useful. I found it comical that I almost skipped it for the exact reason that I was going to tell you not to do things and to take action. So I had to do it. I had to take action for you. I hope you found that one comical as well with that little picture I shared with you. Of course, if you are looking to take action in your life, you know what to do. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen, right? And if that's in the realm of diabetes, the other pieces I can't help you with, but the diabetes specifically, that is literally what I have committed my life to doing. I help other people living with type 1 diabetes to achieve stable and predictable blood sugars. Through any activity, any kind of meal, living the flexible and free, spontaneous life that I know you want. Not letting diabetes hold you back from living your best life. That's what I do. That is what I have devoted myself to. And I love helping other people like yourself do that. So I do create free trainings, resources, and of course we do have our coaching services. But the first thing I want you to check out, if this is something that you have determined is a priority for you, you are committed to it, and you're looking for that imperfect action, how do I start? What is the first step that I can stumble into to build that momentum? You gotta go check out my free training on something called the 80-20 blood sugar formula. All right, this formula is a literal formula that we use inside of our coaching program for how to predict where blood sugars are gonna go. What if you could predict where your blood sugars were gonna go after pizza and keep them stable? I'm not saying predict like, oh, I predict it's gonna be 400. Anyone can do that. But if you could predict and keep your blood sugars stable right where you want them, would that be worth it to you to watch a 30-minute training for free? What about going for a bike ride, playing with your kids, going to the gym, and being able to keep your blood sugar stable through those exercises? That is the kind of stuff that this formula was built for. It took me years of research, trial and error, and I want you to have access to it. So jump into that training. It's completely free. It will give you the first step that you can build that momentum with and start on your journey towards those stable and predictable blood sugars. All right? You can find that training right now at diabetesinaction.com. Do not sleep on this. Do not pause. Do not wait or procrastinate. It is your brain telling you, oh, I'm not ready yet. If you think you're not ready, you're going to find excuses to back that up. Decide today, this is a priority. I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to go watch that training right now. I don't care if you're busy. we're all busy, all right? You have to decide if this is a priority for you, if getting your blood sugars figured out is worth it to you. And if it is, go to diabetesinaction.com right now, watch that training, take some notes, and find that momentum. I want that for you, but you gotta want it too, all right? If you haven't yet, do subscribe. I hit these videos every single week, consistently, sometimes more. And I hope to see you on the next one. Have an amazing rest of your day, and keep up the fight. Hey, real quick, I almost forgot to show you my blood sugars from the week of moving. So we got the clarity report right there. You got 93% time in range for the entire week. It says a 2% decrease, which I would attribute to normal fluctuations. You know, they don't always stay the same. We can also attribute that to moving, but honestly, moving went pretty smoothly. Pretty excited about how the blood sugars cooperated, and that is what's possible with the 80-20 blood sugar formula. I rely on that thing every single day. It works day in, day out, and you can do the same thing for yourself as well. So 93% consistency is key. You keep the blood sugars there. They cooperate even through crazy, chaotic times like moving for a week straight. I want you guys to get this too. So grab over that training, hop in, and I'll see you over there. diabetesinaction.com. Have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, keep up the fight.